I'm Dr. Becky Lynn. I'm here with Katie Haney. I'm an OBGYN at St. Louis University, and I specialize in women's sexual health and menopause. You want to tell a little bit about you?
I'm Katie Haney. I'm a registered dietitian currently practicing at RD By Your Side Nutrition in Kirkwood at Diversified Wellness, and we help all types of people. I specialize in weight management, obesity interventions, pediatric nutrition, and some sports nutrition.
Well, fantastic. One of the reasons I wanted to bring Katie here today is because I see so many menopausal women who tell me that when they go through menopause, their metabolism slows down, they're gaining weight. They tell me that, you know, they watch what they eat healthy, they exercise, and they just can't lose weight. What do you think about that?
So it can be really frustrating because it's a big transition in life. So what we try to do when people come in that are trying to make healthy changes, that want to achieve a healthy weight and then also maintain it, is we try to get as much information as we can about their current eating habits. Mm-hmm. There's a lot that goes into, you know, healthy lifestyle and weight loss. It's not just the food. You know, you have to look at what they're eating, schedule, exercise. Sleep is so huge.
Really?
And that is one of the first things we talk about, is just, you know, circadian rhythms and sleep, and
Really?
if people are getting enough sleep, because that allows your body to reset for the next day.
Because in menopause, many women have night sweats and they can't sleep at all, or they keep having, you know, awakening in the middle of the night.
And then the fourth thing is, of course, just stress and what's the word for it? Just mindset.
Yeah.
If there's a lot of stress, that really affects your hunger, your fullness, your schedule, your sleep. So really trying to put all those pieces together. But what I would tell someone that came in, we'd go through what they eat, but it's about kind of talking about what healthy weight loss looks like and realistic timelines.
So what is that? What is healthy weight loss?
Generally, it depends. Depends where you start, but generally we say half a pound to a pound a week of weight loss. Mm-hmm. So there's different research on. With our practice, we don't. It's a bit controversial with dietitians, like counting calories or not. And there's a big push right now for mindful and intuitive eating, which we focus on a lot. So we try to figure out, being mindful of caloric intake and how much someone needs. We calculate their resting metabolic rate and their activity level.
How do you do the resting metabolic rate?
Well, there's a couple ways we can do it. There's an equation called the Mifflin-St. Jeor equation that is based on a bunch of algorithms, and it takes into account someone's age, gender, activity level. What's the other one? Oh, height and weight, of course.
Right.
And so it's an estimate, but our practice is kind of unique in that we have a breathing machine. So it's an extra service that we offer, but you actually breathe into it, and based on your oxygen consumed and CO2 exhaled, we actually can get their basal expenditure.
So they're like kilocalories that they use in a day?
And then from there we use an activity level to, calculate what they need, because that's just what you need if you were like laying down all day being sedentary,
Right.
That's their baseline. And then what's cool about that is we have clients that will take multiple measurements over time, because as you lose weight, there's less of you to feed, so it decreases. But the way you can continue to maintain your resting metabolic rate that's higher is building muscle.
Yeah.
So I'm not a personal trainer or a physical therapist, but we do encourage 2 to 3 days a week of weight training and building muscle, because that can really help boost your metabolism, that you lose some of that after menopause.
So, it's funny you would say that, because, and I'm not a dietitian, but I always think that when you're trying to lose weight, you need to do aerobic exercise, get your heart rate up. It burns calories.
Definitely.
It burns a lot of calories. And so I've always said, if you have limited time, like some of the, menopausal women, they've got teenagers at home and they work full time, like just don't have time to go to the gym. If you're gonna take a chunk of your day a little bit, I always recommend aerobic exercise. But actually I've been reading lately how important muscle building is.
Like resistance training.
Yeah, so I don't know, would you, I guess what would be the optimal mix of resistance training and like aerobic calorie burning?
That's a really good question. I don't think it's either or, it's hopefully both. And so I start with, is someone willing to do, strength training? Because many times I have clients that say, yeah, I'm just not going to lift, or I don't have any interest, but I would like to kind of build my heart rate and, start exercising more. So then I kind of start with where they are and where they want to be, because sometimes if I just say to someone, do all of this, and then it gets overwhelming, they don't do anything. So I try to figure out what's realistic for them. I just had a client the other day say, I'll do 10 minutes a week and that's all I'll do. But then I have another client who's already doing 3 days a week of, it's called Krav Maga, or it's high intensity.
Krav Maga.
Krav Maga.
Yeah.
High intensity interval training. And she's like, I'll go up to 4 days a week. So it just depends where they're at. But I guess ideally the recommendation for kids is 60 minutes per day of moderate to intense physical activity. So kids need to be running around and swimming and doing whatever.
Right. As my son is downstairs playing video games. But yeah, that's okay.
we all have areas of improvement. And then for adults, it's 30 minutes.
Oh.
And that doesn't have to, and I just went to this training in April to get my certificate of training on obesity interventions. And it was really like 210 minutes a week, which is 30 minutes a day, up to 60 times 7? 420. Yeah. So it's figuring out what works with their schedule. If it's 30 minutes a day, great. Or if it's 3-hour sessions a week. But I guess I would say, the 60 minutes, that's kids, 30 minutes a day, but then maybe we can incorporate 2 days a week of strength training for 20 minutes.
So let me just ask you this. So why do kids need more exercise than adults? Because you would think, especially for weight loss, adults' metabolism would be naturally slower. I don't know. I mean, like you would think that.
Question.
Yeah, I don't know.
So why do kids need 60? I mean, honestly, I think I'd have to research that a little more. But I think they actually both need it. Yeah. But for kids, I don't know, it's important to get that baseline. Well, I'd have to research that a little more.
I was thinking, because while you were talking about that, I'm like, well, I wonder why that is. And then I was like, maybe it's just to create your baseline of physical fitness when you're a kid, because if you're a sedentary kid, that's not healthy, and that goes on into your later life. So maybe they're just trying to build cardiovascular strength.
Yeah, and they're still growing, so they need to strengthen their muscles, especially heart muscle. Yeah. I have to research that one.
That's okay.
Well, never been asked that.
If you know, let us know. We don't know. Okay, so you go through their sleep, you talk about exercise, and then do you have them write down what they eat during the day? Or?
Every client's different. Generally, when they come in, I want to know what they're eating. Right. And some of them come in with a notebook, or many clients use MyFitnessPal. I think you're familiar with MyFitnessPal.
I think you've told me about MyFitnessPal.
Many people. Yeah. So some people come in and they've got it all recorded, and we can go through that. But typically, I get a verbal intake of what are you typically eating on a typical weekday, and I'll usually get a couple samples of meals and schedules, but then the weekend is usually different. So I also get a weekend day. And then, so from there, I'm going through my little chart here. So we go through, what they typically eat, and then we do eating habits. So do you skip meals? Do you eat when you're stressed, bored, angry? There's a lot of emotional eating just in general.
That's all me.
Food is
bored. Yep.
We have to eat all the time, and we're always thinking about food, and so there's a lot that goes with emotions. So figure out that part of it. Is there any binge eating going on? And for that, we will talk about cognitive behavioral therapy, and we have therapists in our practice too, so nice referral.
That's so nice. Yeah,
it is really nice, because I'm not a therapist, so I can't really teach cognitive behavioral therapy, but I definitely recommend it for emotional eating. And then what else? So hunger. Hunger is a big thing, because most of the time with clients, I go through this hunger scale, and it's basically from 1 to 10, and 1 is I always compare fuel for your body is like gas tank for a car. So when your gas tank's empty, the car stops. So when you're really, really hungry, your body doesn't work. Your brain doesn't work. And I always say the 10 is like Thanksgiving Day, when you eat so much you can't even move. Right. So ideally, we want to stay between a 4 and a 6. So don't allow your body to get too hungry and stop when you're at a 6 versus eating until you're stuffed. And if that's really the achieving a healthy weight is about eating enough but not too much. Right. And so it's not, we talk a lot about what people are eating, but we also talk about like how much and the
So
when.
that's like portion control, basically.
Yes.
Sometimes I think that, you know, well, we all know our portions here, like if you go to a restaurant, it's like 1,000 calories in one plate, if not more.
Absolutely.
So I feel like people think, oh, you know, I don't eat that much, but it's all relative. When you like actually measure out like a half a cup of something, it's not a lot of food.
Yes.
It's really not.
It can be shocking to show what like a healthy portion of rice is.
Right.
It's half a cup.
It looks like 3 bites.
Yes.
It's just not that much.
And so then we find out what they eat, and you know, stress level, sleep, exercise, and then after we calculate their calorie needs and what they need, then we kind of create a meal plan together or a healthy day with their help of what does that even look like. And that's where we'll talk about, you know, having all the food groups in a meal, having what's a healthy amount of carbohydrate, fat, and protein in a meal. We do focus quite a bit on protein because you want to have
nutrients.
So when we create the meal plan, we try to create suggestions of meals that incorporate all the different food groups. So carbohydrate, protein, and fat. So the different food groups are starch, vegetable, fruit, fat, and a meat or protein. And what was I just saying about
The macronutrients.
Yeah, macronutrients. So, protein's really important, especially in achieving a healthy weight and just energy. And if you're incorporating exercise, you've got to have enough protein at a meal, but not too much. So we do focus a lot on portion size. And a tool I've been using a lot lately, which is, I mean, it's pretty basic, but it really does help visualize, is, you know, especially for someone wanting to lose weight, is divide your plate into 4s.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen that.
Yeah, it's from choosemyplate.gov, which is like the newish, it's not that new, but like the updated food pyramid, food guide pyramid. So fruit, vegetable, starch or grain, and protein. And a lot of people's plate does not look, there's not that, most people that come in, I would say, there's just, vegetables is more like a rare thing, when it really should be like, you know, 8 to 10 servings of fruits and vegetables every day is what we're aiming for.
Right. So I have a question about that. So I tend to eat a lot of fruit and not as much vegetables. So if you say 8 to 10 fruits and vegetables a day, if like 9 out of 10 are those fruits, are you still missing like something in the like should I try and balance it out a little bit?
Yeah, you'd be missing, so 2 to 3 of those servings I would say should be vegetables. So, and you don't have to go up to, you know, 7 servings of vegetables tomorrow, but try to like, you know, find some recipes. You know, I have a lot of clients that come in that just don't like vegetables because the only way they've eaten it is say like boiled or like, I don't just, kind of what you imagine eating, steamed. And so we talk a lot about like, have you tried roasting vegetables? You know, if you roast Brussels sprouts, asparagus, cauliflower, broccoli, doesn't quite taste like French fries, but it's got this crispy, nice texture. And then you can get a serving of vegetables. Or we talk about, you know, vegetable soup. You can get like 7 or 8 servings of vegetables in a soup, and then it's not like labor intensive. To eat it. To make it kind of is. But you can buy it.
You can just buy vegetable soup.
Yeah. So I would say, 2 to 3 servings of fruits, and you'd be missing some nutrients.
Yeah, and we probably all need to eat more vegetables. But
Amen. I agree.